Eckhart Tolle, Adyashanti, all those guys, and presence. It's measurable. And when you're in that place of presence, which I call the learning state, because I use non-spiritual language these days to work with students and teach them the same stuff. When you're in that learning state, it means you can commune with wild animals. It actually took me about 5 minutes to coax this guy to jump on me, and he was all by himself, but there are now more turning up, and it might get very chaotic very soon. So, presence is about being here and being embodied. So it's neurologically the same as all this spiritual stuff and spiritual words. These birds don't trigger into their fight-flight if you hold presence properly, and they will still behave like animals. So I've done some videos this morning for my student site, Student Success Tutor. Here we go, competition's about to start. But look at my hand. They are still birds. They still bit me. Some of that's claw marks because they were hanging off me upside down and stuff like that. But presence is measurable. It's definable. It's totally doable. You can awaken in 5 years if you apply the Eckhart Tolle practice, the presence practice, properly and relentlessly. It's mathematical to the point you can calculate it. If you're self-honest about your practice, if you're doing your practice correctly, and you go through that learning process. It's about resetting the default patterning inside of you unconsciously. It's your whole neurology. It's not just some spiritual concept. You actually have to learn to function as a human being in life. So what is your presence like when you're cooking in the kitchen, or your boss has yelled at you, or you're in a traffic jam? Are you accessing presence? Are you? How do you react when there's unwanted noises? You can't change it, can you? But it can assist your presence practice by noticing the space that it comes from. So you're not just stuck in your head. So if you're interested in learning more about this, I have online courses with lots of videos and teaching you how to come into the place of presence that I call the learning state. So it's normal. So you can teach your teenagers it and your young kids. There's online courses. Well, I'll see if I can get you on the other hand, mate. My arm's getting sore from holding you. No. And then there's the tutoring, one-on-one, so it's fast. You can awaken permanently in 5 years. If you're not, you're doing something wrong, or you're not applying it, or you're just not being self-honest. And it is measurable. And I have a lot of people who say it's this, that and the other, and when I point them towards how it is measurable, that happens. Because when you're specific, and when it's measurable, it's measurable. So check out the website, studentsuccesstutor.com. Come on, what was all that about? Coming back? Come on. Let's talk to the birds. Come back, come on. I don't know if you can see it, there's one in the tree there doing the splits. Come on. Why'd you guys fly away? Come on, come up. So did we catch all that? I think we did. Law 2, think big. Try again. Law 4, work your ass off. Be persistent, and it'll work. See, I just called those birds down then, and now they're all back after they all flew away. The reason you work your ass off, to use Arnold's language, and be persistent would be my one. This is why it's mathematical persistence, is it trains your unconscious, so it's normal. And when you have the learning attitude of how can I do this better, i.e. the success journal, the master, whoa, sharp claws. Look at that, he just ripped 4 holes in me. As you learn and you get better at it, and you can do it more easily. So notice how I just handled pain then. Kept my cool so these guys didn't freak out, because they do freak out and then they fly away. So the principles in this website, the 10 laws and the rules and the prime directives of the unconscious, they are measurable. And as I delve back into more of the newer neuroscience stuff, it's all just the same thing. It's confirming everything I'm talking about, even though I haven't been looking at research for the last 20 years. I've just been living it. It integrates. And this is the important point. I'm bleeding. This stuff works. It's a matter of you can apply it yourself with the online course. We can go through one-on-one with tutoring, so it's very specific to you and get you going. You are going to literally learn consciously and rewire your unconscious back to square one, like you were when you were a baby and you were a mega learning machine, where learning was effortless and life was just a bundle of joy. That's what it's about. This is what this website's about, for students and for the parents, and hopefully some teachers, so we can get this planet moving in the right direction, because we need to. Not just for our sake, but for these guys. David Attenborough, One Planet, Our Planet, watch it. It's important. So let's move to that place where life is good for us and our wider community, because these guys have needs too. So I'm Jason. Hello. Oh, you're dancing? Oh, you guys know each other. Hey, hello. Oh, you've got your own. Know any humans like that? Hey? Aren't they sweet? It's nice when you're at peace and they're at peace too. Right? And with practice you learn to live here, because it becomes your default setting. And this guy's about to run out of seed. And that default setting gets stronger, so you can hold it in more situations. This is how it's measurable, right? So if you're self-honest and you're prepared to truly see what's going on and notice the signs of the feedback, you know it's measurable. Then you can put that in your success journal, and then it deepens. So you can do this while you're in pain. Like right now I'm in pain because I've got a number of holes in my hands from this morning, and that bird's claws are right in those holes right now. Which is good. It helps me feel my body. It's important to be aware of your neurology, right? Legs, tummy, hands. It means you're not stuck in your head, so you can be responsive. So this becomes the habit. The relentless habit, eh, sweet? No, 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 don't eat my cord. These birds are very powerful. So with habit, it becomes the habit. It becomes the default setting, not the bad habits. That means your learning's better, your behaviours are better, you feel good more of the time. When tough stuff happens, you can have an argument and come back to peace instead of stewing about it for hours and hours and hours afterwards. And then you can put it in your journal, how fast you recovered and how you're not stewing about it. And therefore you have measurable evidence of the growth of your emotional intelligence. So that's how this works. You're not just learning to turn your brain on for study. You're learning to turn your brain on for a good life. Hey, sweet. I'm very hungry. Going through the cycles and learning about cycles is really important, which is why the 6th law that we look at and examine here in this website as part of this bigger process is balance. You will go through cycles where you're really busy, you got tons of stuff on, and you kind of lose sight of your practice, of the state awareness, the learning state, and all those things. Eh? But then, you know, cycles change and things improve. And when things do improve and things are good, it's important you still keep your awareness up and you keep working at this stuff, because then the hard cycles come. All this stuff's very mathematical, which is why Law 10 is mastery, where you embody this stuff as your default. You go back to being a fully functioning person who's competent and resourceful, regardless of what good stuff or bad stuff is going on. Take a look at what's on offer. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'm Jason, for studentsuccesstutor.com. Hey beautifuls. I need to check if my microphone's working after everybody's been chewing on my cable. It's not good when your microphone's broken.